Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Karens. In today's episode, a wild Karen got arrested with a felony. I have a Karen as a roommate. I have a Karen as a roommate, part 2. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. A wild Karen got arrested with a felony. Background: I'm a 35-year-old father of 2 boys. I have PTSD due to time overseas and have the physical scars to match the mental scars. I have an incredible wife that knows me and knows what situations I should avoid. My children are amazing, but this story revolves around my youngest son and my service dog. Jay, my youngest son, has autism and we share a special bond because some things that set him off also put my teeth on edge. Spike, my English bulldog, he's my service dog. He's well trained, lazy, judgmental and overall uninterested in anything he can't eat. He's also very in tune to Jay and my emotions and will provide a distraction when we get overwhelmed. Basically, he's like, "Oh, you're stressed? Here, scratch my butt, you'll feel better and I'll get attention." It's a win-win. The story: my family recently moved to Texas. Because we now live very close to an amusement park, we got memberships. Shout out to the park for being amazing when it comes to special needs. This particular park in Arlington, Texas has a special program for autistic people. They have rooms set aside to chill at if you're overstimulated, so you can relax, go back out, get overstimulated again, and round you go. With Jay, we also don't have to wait in lines. This is a huge thing and the cause of this story. The park has a pass that lets you skip most of the lines and they charge an arm and a leg for this. However, with that pass you still end up in a line of the hundreds of people that also have that pass. Jay gets no lines at all. We get a special pass and we go in through the exit. The worker signs the pass and we go on the ride. Jay has a favorite ride, the log ride. There has been days that we would ride the log ride over and over, then eat. We also have the food pass which we pay for, then go back to the log ride. On this day, T, my oldest, and Jay wanted to go on the log ride. So we made our way to the exit and left wife and Spike in the shade because someone has to stay with him and bulldogs plus rides don't mix. As we were going in the exit, a woman started screaming at us. I have absolutely no hearing on my right side, thanks high pressure wave, so didn't consider it worth turning my head to listen. Now because we ride this ride almost exclusively, the workers on this ride know us by name and sight. Jay even talks to them, which is rare. We go in, show the pass, sit and ride. This time though, Tabitha, I'll call her Tabitha because Karen is overused, the woman that was screaming at us as we were walking in through the out, made her way to where the speedy pass ends at the ride where a red shirt will check her pass and let her go on her way. She didn't even want to ride, she just wanted to yell about us going in through the exit and how we are abusing the system. Now anyone that looks at Jay can see he's in a world all his own and wouldn't be surprised if he's literally reading the future or talking to aliens. He's awesome. The red shirt tries to calm her down. T is getting upset because he's a normal 9-year-old and adults yelling is uncool. Jay making his excited sounds and waiting for the log to stop so he can get in. We get in and as we float away we still hear Tabitha screaming. The ride ends and we exit. We figured we would never see Tabitha again, but obviously as I'm point this it didn't go that way. Tabitha appeared like a dark brother after making the sacrifice, Elder Scrolls reference, hooting and screaming. She is screaming that just because Jay is in our word doesn't mean we get extra rights. The screaming causes Jay to let out his super screech. Now anyone that knows autism knows that autistic kids have superpowers. In Jay's case, it's a supersonic ear-shattering high-pitched screech that makes your eyes swim and makes it feel like things in your head are moving that shouldn't. This whole time Spike was laying on the ground in the froggy position as bulldogs do, just looking at Tabitha like she's a rabid dog, but not worth getting up for. As we are being screamed at, I see 2 officers approaching from behind Tabitha. I smile, my smile must have broke Tabitha because the haul's off and kicks Spike. This flips my switch because now my family is literally under attack and I start to react. Before I could make contact, Tabitha is already in the air being held, carried, half dragged away while being cuffed. Now in front of me is a well-dressed and pissed-looking officer. He tells us he heard the screech and started heading to it because they thought a ride broke or something bad happened. I take the time to unflip that switch and examine Spike. He's limping and crying. I feel his hips and feel that his hip is dislocated. I jokingly ask the officer to walk away and let me get some. He of course has no humor to this, but also can tell I had a career. He asked what happened and we all explain what happened from A to Z. He asks if Spike is a service dog. I say yes. He smiles, I'm not in a smile mood, but it catches me off guard. He explains that in Texas to intentionally injure a service dog is a felony. By this time park security arrived and issued a trespass order to Tabitha. The officers ask if I want to press charges. I look at Spike and look back, yes. I say. Tabitha and her tiny mouse-like husband start to freak out as Tabitha is loaded onto a golf cart. We hop on a cart too and leave to go to the vet. The vet fixed Spike and all is well. We went back the next day with Spike in a stroller. No one batted an eye and everyone loves the bulldog in a stroller. I let people pet him, he's a hoot and the park is an amazing place. I've been contacted by the investigating officer and have given depositions. I may have to testify, but I look forward to sitting on the bench with Spike on my lap. Make sure to take the vet bill to court to have the judge order restitution. Yep. That family can sue Tabitha for a ridiculous amount depending on the amount of in expenses that directly result from the attack on Spike, including vet bills, therapy, retraining for Spike because incidents like this can damage a SD's training, etc. This is on top of the criminal penalties and fines they have to pay to the state. Tabitha made a very expensive, extremely stupid move, and I wish her the maximum penalties. Well ahead on that, plus believe it or not I have health insurance for him. This is a fantastic story, thank you for sharing. Spike sounds like a wonderful dog as well. I hope you ruin her life. As an autistic adult with PTSD, it doesn't get easier. However, I do hope Spike turns out okay. Sue her for emotional damages, vet bills, and slam her ass over her kicking the dog. I have emotional detachment disorder, so it didn't bother me. It was the going from LA to attack mode that more scared my wife and T. But yes, we are talking to an attorney. Mostly because she said, "Do you know who I am?" Get ready to file a civil suit as well. Between the autistic kid and the service dog, you should have that woman and her family renting a trailer, shopping at Goodwill, and eating ramen and Kraft mac and cheese for the rest of her life. From the sounds of this woman, I wouldn't be surprised if they already are renting a trailer, shopping at Goodwill, and eating Kraft mac and cheese for life. Dude, that brought a tear to my eye for so many reasons. Let's start off with I hate most dogs. But you don't mess with someone's dog. That's wrong. I was accused by an ex of beating her dog. It hurt me that she thought I would do that. Even the next day, when the neighbors asked how the dog was after it fell down the deck stairs after jumping over the gate, I never got an apology. Second, that's awesome that the park does that for people with special needs. I have 4 nephews that fall under that umbrella. 3 from a POS drug-abusing BIL and 1 from SIL that neglected a newborn until his skull deformed from not being moved. The BIL finally died of an overdose and the SIL had the kids taken by the state and given to the good SIL. Third, I love a story with a happy ending. There's a special place in hell for animal abusers. Hope your son and Spike is doing well. Hope Karen gets some jail time, she sure as hell deserve it. Justice for Spike. I'm so glad you have this park near you and wish you guys all the fun and Tabitha-free days. I'm also really glad that lady is going to have to deal with the consequences to her actions. I have a Karen as a roommate. I share a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment with someone who gets triggered by the most minor things. She thrives on conflict. I do my best not to cause conflict, but that is nearly impossible with this 38-year-old woman who WFH. For example, she doesn't want me to be around some of the common areas, such as the small outdoor patio, because she told me her stuff is there. She has a lot of stuff, BTW. She has so much stuff that she feels the need to put some of it in the living room and on the patio. She also told me she is a germaphobe. She doesn't want me to touch anything, such as the light switches, doorknobs, refrigerator handle, or kitchen sink handle, or if I do, I need to wipe it down because she thinks my hands are gross and sweaty. I decided to tolerate it as long as she was paying rent. I'll let her seize those areas and avoid touching a few things, but my patience started to run out when she became a deadbeat. She texted me she would pay me on the week of June 19th. She needed to pay me on June 1st, but I made the mistake of trusting her. Every time I tried to text her about rent, she was vague about it. I am a bit frustrated not only at myself but at her too. I submitted paperwork to get her evicted. Today, I decided to lie in front of the sliding glass patio doors to get some sunlight. When roommate Karen arrived and saw me sitting near her stuff, she freaked out. She rudely called me out and told me not to sit near her stuff. I asked her when she'll pay me back. She ignored me and walked into her room. Then 15 to 20 minutes later, she walked out while talking on the phone. I asked her again, and she ignored me. She walked around me to go outside to the patio and closed the sliding door behind her. I just chilled next to her stuff in front of the sliding door. That's when I decided that as soon as she left the patio, I'll protest by going out to the patio. When she came out of the patio, I went out and closed the sliding door behind me. After 20 minutes on the patio, I was dumbfounded that she hadn't tried to argue with me yet. That's when I caught a glimpse of her on the phone on the other side of the sliding glass patio doors, glancing at me and hearing her say, "He is sitting on the floor watching videos on his phone." I didn't think much of it. She was probably telling her friend how triggered she was, which is the reaction I wanted. 10 minutes later, a female cop opened the sliding door. I was baffled because I knew I didn't break any laws. I did not harass, raise my voice, throw insults, show violent aggression, touch, or threaten my roommate. The cop asked me what was going on. I nervously explained to her my roommate and I had some conflict on rent, and I added that my roommate gets mad whenever I chill on the patio. First, she told me my roommate can take a walk if she is triggered by me sitting on the patio. Second, she asked me if I was going through the legal process of kicking her out. I said yes and showed her the emails. She told me to sit tight, then walked back inside to chat with my roommate. I heard my roommate talking loudly. I couldn't make out what she was saying. I was worried. Worst case, she could lie, and the cops take her side. Best case, she is trying to convince them that I am the worst roommate ever. During a recent argument, I asked my roommate what happened. She said she called the cops for my behavior and was telling them what I did. After 10 minutes, the same cop returned and told me my roommate was rambling about stuff. I just nodded because it didn't surprise me. She went back inside. My roommate told me that since I was informative and relaxed and she wasn't, the cops sided with me. The cops bluntly told her she was at fault for not paying rent and it was okay for me to ask her about it. The cops were displeased at her for calling them when she could have communicated with me about unpaid rent. After 10 more minutes, the cop came back and told me they couldn't do anything and that this was a civil matter. We were told to avoid and not to talk to each other. Then they left. My roommate went to get her blood pressure checked by a paramedic. She later returns to her room to lament. Karen. I'll be sitting in the common area next to your stuff. Update: she has been crying in her room for over an hour. I think she was talking to her mom because I suddenly received $956 in my bank account. I wasn't expecting this at all. She texted me these messages after the incident. Text update 1. I thought I was very clear about a paycheck to be late beyond expectation. That should have been enough to avoid your behavior today and your behavior last week and the week before. I don't know what behavior she is talking about here. I didn't physically confronted her about rent until Sunday. Here's all of the text regarding the rent. Text update 2. Final note, please no longer refer to me by my first name or nickname. Kindly refer to me as I should have in the first place, Ms. last name, not Remy. This is my name in school and business outside of family. Text update 3, June 26, 23. Thank you for listening yesterday. I wish you well on your day today. Have a good week. I can update you July 10th, a Monday. I haven't texted my roommate. She just keeps texting me for some reason. Text 4, June 28, 23. Thank you for a nice today of all days. It meant the world to me that today went well. Thank you. She shouldn't be thanking me. She should be apologizing to me. July 2nd, 2023, we had a 3-hour convo about late rent. She ended up punching me and being the aggressor. I am still shaken by what happened. I'll write in more detail later. Edit, here's a text from months ago when she tried to look for a new place and apologize for her behavior. P.S. She is a vocal anti-vaxxer, and she vehemently hates the Juneteenth holiday, so that she might be racist. Nope. Thanks for finally paying what you owe, but this isn't working. You're incapable of sharing space, and I'm not going to continue to pretend your behavior is normal. You will have to find somewhere else to live. Buys Daytex. We already agreed that she'll move out in July. If she doesn't, then that's okay because my lease is up by the end of July. I'll file small claim court on the 2nd because she already told me she'll be late. I'm not going to continue to pretend your behavior is normal. So true. The crazy thing is she thinks my behavior isn't normal. I was just wondering why someone would start living with a roommate if they have so many issues like that. It's just unreal to me. I hated having roommates. Nothing inspired me to save and earn more money than to get away from roommates. Can't legally evict my roommate for 17 years and 2 months. She doesn't work, shits herself, and will sleep in only to take a 3-hour nap at noon. Yes. I worked overtime so that I could have peace. It was so worth it. Even though she did paid you, give her 30 days notice and say this isn't working out. You shouldn't have to feel like that in your own home. Get cameras for the common areas and your bedroom door. Well, looks like I'd be spending a majority of my time in the common areas from now on and touching every light switch and doorknobs in the house repeatedly. I was also thinking of walking around shirtless just to bug her even more. Go wherever you want in your house. She cannot limit you to certain rooms. Continue the eviction so you are free of her. Sit in the common area with a 12-pack. Drink each one, burp loudly and crush and throw the empty can towards her stuff. Oh, and play really loud music too. I have a Karen as a roommate, part 2. I'm still a little shaken at what happened last night. It all started when I sent my roommate, Remy, a short demand letter through text, 9 p.m. I just informed her that if she is late on rent by the 4th of July, I'll go through a small case court. I was told to do this by the local legal aid if I suspected my roommate would not pay rent. After I sent that, my roommate knocked on my bedroom door. I went out and saw an enraged person. She told me I shouldn't go to court because she might be able to pay me by the 10th. Also, adding someone in her family has cancer. Plus, it was a 4th of July holiday. My roommate did most of the talking. I don't remember everything she said, but essentially my roommate was trying to make a case that it won't look good to the people she knew if I went to court. She also points out how good of a roommate she has been to me and how I have been a lousy roommate to her. My roommate also didn't want other people to get involved. I reassured her that nothing would happen as long as the rent is paid before we go to court. But the more I resisted her request not to go to court, the more unhinged she became. She said I was the reason she couldn't make money. Apparently, I am destroying her focus by asking for her rent. After an hour or two of her yelling and insulting me, she mentioned how her peers saw my behavior as harmful. I told her that my peers saw her as harmful as well. She exploded with rage when she heard that, telling me that I don't have the right to harm her reputation when they don't know the full story. She got close to my face. Her eyes opened wide. She insisted I should not spread things about her. I held my ground. I expressed that if she can talk to her people about me, then I have the right to say truthful things about her from my point of view. She threw a right hook punch out of nowhere, hitting me on the left side of my jaw. While trying to gather myself and figure out the proper recourse, she grabbed me by my shirt and told me she would do the worst things to me if she were a man. She was unhinged. Remy told me she doesn't hit people, but it was my fault for getting punched. I wanted to escape the situation, but I couldn't. The only thing I could do was de-escalate. I told her that she needed to back off. She repeated herself that I needed to stop talking shit about her. I said okay. She backed off. Remy pulls her right hand out. She told me to shake it. I complied. Then she said, I want you to repeat after me while we shake. I will never say anything bad about Remy to anyone again. Something along those lines. I reluctantly obliged, but I messed up a few times. She wanted me to keep saying it until I told it exactly how she said it. As much as I wanted to resist, I didn't want to escalate the situation. I don't know what would happen if I fled. She might have a gun. She could damage the apartment. I don't know. After she was satisfied with my words, she calmed down a bit. I tried to leave the situation by signaling it was late, but my roommate wanted to keep talking to me. My roommate's behavior did a 180. She was friendlier. I humor her for a bit. Remy said she wanted us to keep being roommates, even suggesting we get a house together. She was adamant that she could help me succeed. She said that I need her. She said she was sorry that I made her punch me. Eventually, after some high-fiving and a hug, we decided we had talked enough. I went into my room, and she went into hers. It was 1:25 a.m. I wanted to call the cops, but I didn't want my roommate to hear me, and I don't want to be at the apartment when the cops arrived. That's when I heard the patio door open and close. My roommate went outside. I took that opportunity to leave the apartment. Shaken, I called 911. I told the operators what had happened. When the cops arrived, I explained what had happened. The cops asked me why I didn't call 911 right away when I got hit. I just said I didn't feel safe to leave. They told me waiting an hour before calling 911 does not work in my favor. They gave me a few options. They said I could file a charge against my roommate, but they would have to talk to my roommate and get her side of the story. Nothing could happen if she told a different story, but it could escalate things. Even if my roommate admitted hitting me, she would likely be in jail for a day or two. Adding, it might escalate the situation more when she returns to the apartment. My other option is to file a restraining order. The cops told me I could get my roommate out of the apartment if I did this. I picked the restraining order option. The cop gave me a paper that explained how to file a restraining order, and I was told to file it on Monday. The cops left. I sneaked back to the apartment. Right now, I am patiently waiting for Monday with a sore jaw. I wish I had recorded the conversation of what happened last night because she said a lot of crazy shit during this 3-hour interaction. I can't remember all of it. TLDR, my roommate and I had a 3-hour conversation about late rent. Roommate gets triggered, then assaults me. Good thing you called the police and received information on the restraining order. Stay away from her as much as you can and keep your bedroom door locked. Especially while in there. And do not open your door if she knocks. If she persists, start recording and call 911 if you need to. You don't even need to speak above a whisper. Just don't hang up. They'll come. I'm just going to hop on the top comment for PSA. You can text 911. Get that restraining order ASAP. Document everything as well. That woman is completely unhinged. Your roommate is a narcissist. I hope the restraining order gets her out and keeps her out, for your sake. Not just that, she's completely unhinged. She scares me honestly. My husband was in LE and had seen some MO individuals do some terrible stuff. I hope OP stays safe. Oh, FFS. She's not a narcissist, and I wish people would stop labeling everyone a narcissist. She is possibly a sociopath or a psychopath given the ranges of her emotions and her taking it physical. A narcissist would cry in a corner and complain, "Why me? Why does this always happen to me? Why am I always the victim?" Even if you show to their face that they are not the victim and what they did wrong, they counter with gaslighting and more narcissistic dribble on why they are the victim. Why not have her arrested and file the restraining order? In addition to changing the locks and leaving for a few days. Her getting arrested could only help with the restraining order. Can't change the locks if she lives there. At least not legally. Makes it harder for landlords to evict people, also makes it harder for domestic violence victims to find safety. Go to the ER and get the injuries documented. If you can afford to do so, this could be very important. If not for seeking damages, at least for establishing what happened. Roommate is dangerous and abusive. Can you get out of the lease and just leave? If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.